Lilith changes out of her normal maid uniform into a butler's uniform, hoping that her master would notice her. She is grateful that he hired her, but is worried that he always finds her suspicious. She thinks that for him to grow up well, she needs to get as close to him as possible and make him trust her. She starts keeping an eye on him, but he accuses her of stalking him, and one day they get into an accident. He calls her clumsy and tells her not to worry as she will not be fired. Lilith wants to do better to make up for her clumsiness by acting more mature, but Yuri accuses her of nefarious plans and that she is trying to capture all his attention. She retreats because she can't handle his brutal honesty. She decides she will work hard to be a good listener and a dependable maid. But when she offers to listen to his concerns, Yuri just finds her more suspicious. Lilith's plans aren't working to get closer to Yuri, so she decides if they play together she can be closer to Yuri. She asks Yuri if he would like to have fun with her, but he thinks this is a trap and is confused. They play chess together as it is Yuri's favorite game because his father taught him to play before his parents died. And since his parents were always busy, he only had a few memories of playing and learning the game with his father. He also loved his mother's pudding, which she cooked when his father was away on trips. Lilith and Yuri play chess together as she tries her best to keep him entertained, and they play well into the night. The next morning, Lilith decides to make pudding since it is among Yuri's favorite foods. She notices that Yuri is in a bad mood after school, so she tries her best to make the pudding. But when she gives him the handmade pudding, he doesn't react at all. She is shocked that he took the pudding without accusing her of poisoning it. She stalks him because she wants him to notice her, and is shocked when he hands her a notice for a school event. The school asked the students to bring their servants, but he doesn't want to bring her because she would attract too much attention and is too suspicious. But he also doesn't have anyone to bring and asks if she can still go. Lilith agrees to go to the school, but since the school has a strict dress code, her maid outfit would attract too much attention. He asks her to dress normally, but she can't find any clothes that would fit the classy academy after trying on several outfits. At school, Yuri hopes that Lilith can make it. The last school event, his parents could not come because of their work, and he spent the time alone. As the event starts, he doesn't see Lilith enter, and wonders if she decided not to come. But Lilith arrives in a butler uniform alongside Fujisaki, who lent her a spare uniform. After the event, as they walk home, Lilith apologizes for being late, but Yuri is just thankful that she came and he was not alone. Later, the sports festival for the academy is soon, and Yuri begins training in the house. Lilith decides to cheer for him, but she is embarrassed with her cheer, although he also finds her cheer a little embarrassing. He asks her to attend the sports festival. When Lilith picks up Yuri from school, Tsukasa watches from a distance for the thrill, and her servant Fujisaki calls her creepy. Tsukasa asks Fujisaki to show some emotion, and the butler gives a heartfelt declaration that Tsukasa loves as they return home. Meanwhile, Lilith shows Yuri her training plans for the sports festival during their evening snack. Lilith begins training Yuri using tips she has compiled from her notes for events such as a ball toss, tug of war, and running, but he doesn't perform well as a stray cat keeps sabotaging his performance. Since he is sore from training that night, Lilith comes to massage him, and her massage is so good Yuri accuses her of witchcraft. The week passes by as they continue to train, and Yuri's performance significantly improves. Meanwhile, Tsukasa asks Fujisaki for help because her parents are busy and cannot go to the sports festival. Fujisaki promises to go to the sports festival with her and tells her she will not let her down. However, Tsukasa was actually using fake tears just to get Fujisaki to promise to go to the festival. The day of the festival arrives, and Lilith has stayed up late to prepare a large breakfast for Yuri's competition. Yuri is determined to win at all costs, and Tsukasa admires his determination. Yuri gets into a rivalry with the other students and sees that he is even more enthusiastic because Lilith is there to cheer him on from the sidelines. However, when Lilith promises a reward for Yuri if he wins, Tsukasa finds their master and servant relationship scandalous. She also finds it exciting and will help Yuri win at all costs. They work together and their team wins the tug of war event. Lilith congratulates them, and Tsukasa finds her praise of Yuri overwhelming. After the running event, Fujisaki joins the three of them for a special lunch that Lilith has made. Yuri is worried that Lilith is overworking herself, but she is just happy to be able to serve him. The next event, family and guardians must also compete, and Lilith joins the adults in an obstacle course. She questions her relationship with Yuri, but resolves to do her best after he cheers her on, and she wins first place. She is glad to be wearing a tracksuit instead of a uniform like Fujisaki. When the other students question why a servant is competing, Yuri declares that Lilith is not just a servant and that she is family to him. He announces that although she is suspicious and probably has casted a spell on him, because he cannot stop thinking of her, she is family to him. The next day, Lilith is caught in a storm when she is out shopping and returns soaked. However, she is clumsier than usual and seems distracted, such as adding salt to his tea. He watches her and is pretty sure she is sick, as she almost passes out in a hallway. Yuri sends her to rest as she has a very high temperature, but she insists on keeping working because she doesn't want to let him down. She also feels if she doesn't do a good job, she feels that he will no longer want her services. Yuri comforts her and insists that he will never fire her. The next day, Lilith is feeling much better, but she is still embarrassed with how she acted the night before. Yuri starts to help around the house with chores to lighten Lilith's workload, and she agrees when he states that he just wants to spend time with her. It is soon Halloween time, and they have been invited to a Halloween party. They discuss different costume ideas, and they arrive at the party with a fantasy theme, with Lilith as a dragon and Yuri as a mage. Tsukasa is excited to host the Halloween party and has had staff make lots of baked goods for everyone. They are excited to eat Tsukasa's food, and Tsukasa is happy to see them together. Tsukasa also orders that Fujisaki wear a costume, and the butler is forced to become a princess. They take pictures, and at the end of the day, Tsukasa apologizes to her butler for making her uncomfortable. The next day, Lilith gets a mysterious letter, and when she doesn't pick Yuri up from school, he finds her hiding the letter suspiciously. At dinner, he senses something is wrong as the food is not good, and Lilith has become very quiet. She reveals that the message was an order to return to her former place and that today will be the last day at the mansion. But a distressed Yuri orders her to stay as she promised to be by his side. And Lilith tears up the letter and promises to try to stay in the mansion with him. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.